happy 2025, all you Hollyweirdos. What a year these past couple of weeks have been so far in 2025. My goodness. We just need one hell of a reset button to press. We would like to return 2025, maybe get some store credit back. Who knows? But on today's weird episode, so fitting for this weird new year, is going to be a very unique episode. We're going to play a little catch up, a check-in, especially with our new guest. You may have heard of her and her little soapbox, Bryce Mitchell-Williams. Yes, the one and only. You thought that he was gone. No, he's back. And he is definitely going to stand on that soapbox, because that soapbox is just as strong as his loins. Now, not only are we going to play check-in and catch up, but we're also going to share some ghost stories. Yes, it seems like Bryce's new job has a couple of ghosts that tend to linger around this famous studio. And I do share a story in regards to the city of San Fernando. Would I sacrifice a box of churros just to confront a ghost? You're just going to have to tune in. You're definitely going to have to tune in and catch up on a lot of these ghost stories, what's been going on with the LA fires, how have we been protecting ourselves, not only against the LA fires, but now with this new year. I'm telling you, we're going to need jars upon jars of salt and maybe a couple of boxes of that salt lamp. We need to definitely cleanse this energy, protect ourselves, and we definitely need to grasp and clutch onto that Palo Santo pretty tightly, because this episode is going to get weird and we're not holding back. So you already know the drill. Grab your salt, your Palo Santo, because if you think it's weird, then it's definitely going to get Hollyweirder. Hey everyone, welcome back to a long-awaited episode of Hollyweird Paranormal. And I like to personally invite this special guest. You may have remembered him from past episodes. His name rhymes with Rice Williams.
Me and
Hey
Scooby-Doo.
stranger.
Hi, I know it's been a minute. I've been really busy with show choir.
Yes, you have been quite the busybody, because everybody's like, where's Bryce? Is everything okay? Is he still a part of the podcast? I'm like, guys, let me tell you about his little schedule. He is a working girl here in Hollywood, and you have no idea.
Not the fun kind of working.
So how have you been? Let's catch up, since this is pretty much the theme of the episode, guys. We're catching up with each and every one of you. Yes. Catch us up, Bryce, with what's been going on, and new ghost stories that you have.
Yeah. Everyone, I'm sure, is in the same boat. Everything's going great. No complaints. Smooth sailing. Nothing wrong. Yes. Things have been a little crazy, I will say. LA is we've been in a weird place. And look, obviously everyone has been affected by many things. So I'm not trying to say that LA is special or unique in that way. But this town is really woven into the entertainment industry in a way that's very difficult to explain to people who do not live here or who do not try and make a living here. And so what you have to understand is that no other industry, when it shuts down, affects other industries quite the same way. And it's very tricky to be at ground zero where that's happening. And so we all went through COVID. LA was not special in that. But we're in a content drought, and we are in the sort of aftermath. And I personally feel like the industry artistically has recovered. There have been some beautiful films post-COVID and beautiful television shows, but the work is not there. It's just dried up, and that affects the service industry and the house, any industry you can think of that's in a city is really tied to the entertainment industry. And so when the entertainment industry is doing bad, LA is doing bad. And again, I'm not trying to say that LA has it harder than anyone. We don't. But it's this very weird thing where it's like we just got done with COVID, and then as we were trying to recover with that, the writer's strike happened. And then we just got done with the writer's strike, and then the actors SAG after strike happened. And then we literally just got done with the actors strike, and then the fires happened and the holidays happened. And again, those aren't necessarily just unique to this city, but the reason I'm like rambling on about this is because it's like so hard to explain to people like, well, why is everyone in LA like losing their minds? You're not even near the fires. Like, you're right, I'm not. I'm very lucky. And we're just in a really scary time. And it's linked to all of these things. Like, this sort of award season, I think, really reflects that based on like what they're producing, and this sort of like introduction to AI and what is and isn't taking our jobs, and like, do we have job security, and
Yeah.
lots of question marks. And if you feel like we're in a content drought like I do, it's because we are, and I'm right all the time. But yeah, it's been a weird fucking 2.5 years, 3 years. Like, it's been weird. So I'm very lucky. I'm very safe. We had one tiny little scare with the Sunset Hollywood Hills fire. That was pretty close to
Yeah.
us. That was the one that I was like, maybe we should pack. Okay, we should be prepared. But a lot would have to go wrong for us to be evacuating. We're very close to the Burbank airport. We're surrounded by three other very large municipalities in Studio City, and like so much would have to be going wrong for us to be like in serious danger. But it was very jarring, and we know a lot of friends who have unfortunately like lost their homes, and they're safe, thank God. And it's a weird fucking time in LA right now. And on a personal note, sorry to keep rambling.
No, go ahead. This is why it's like all catching up,
I
man. It's
know, it's just
all
like
catching
it's
up. This
such
is
a
what we've been
fucking
going through. I mean, we're putting the weird in the weird episode of Hollyweird
girl.
because it
Yeah.
really has been dismal. Dismal is the best word I could describe everything that we're going through. Dismal and weird. Yes,
And what I will
absolutely.
say too is like I certainly have criticisms of Los Angeles. I've been here for a very long time. I moved here in 2009. So I'm not a native, but I certainly know this city, and I've been here for a long enough time that I call this place home. This is the most normal and unified and communal and not like schmarmy that LA has ever felt to me. Watching people not only like open their homes and their hearts and like stick up for their neighbors, and like it gives me a lot of hope, especially as we enter an era where community will be our salvation through the next 4 years, 4 decades, like however long you think this debacle is going to affect us. Like, the answer is community. Like, we have to have each other's backs, and LA notoriously, that is not the case. Like, everyone is looking at you like a rung on the ladder to just pull and shove behind them. And this is really the one of the only times that I can think of where LA has really set that aside. I mean, not it in not the same scale. I'm not trying to, it's very apples and oranges, but this in many ways is like our West Coast version of 9/11. And again, I hear that. I know. Please don't like come at me in the comments. I'm not trying to say that they're equitable. They're really not. But the sense of community in the city is like
Mhm.
palpable, and that has never been the case. So I do want to give kudos to my fellow Angelinos. Yeah, I was gonna say something else, but I don't know. Yeah, it's just been what a weird fucking time.
It is. And just to let you guys know, our friends were affected by it. Our friend Zachariah the Witch, we've had him on
Hmm.
the podcast several times. He's a really close friend, not only to us, but also to the podcast.
Just a very good
We've
person.
investigated with him too. So his house is in Altadena, and him and his partner are fine.
God.
Fortunately, there's just pure devastation all around. There's definitely like a survivor's guilt, like, oh, all of like literally their house. I think several houses on their block survived, but everywhere else, like their friends, their neighbors, their houses are gone. And there was a moment, I mean, we were going back and forth and, he had to be evacuated. They were like, what do we do? What do we pack? What do I
Wow.
pack? And all they could do was just like try to hose down the house and, turn around with whatever they had in hand and just kind of see everything for its last time. But fortunately, they came back and there's still a lot of
Wow.
soot and things they had to clean up. But
Sure.
based on what he said, there's a lot of toxins in the air because a lot of the homes, were built at a very, very early age. They were built
Yeah.
in a very, very, I mean, they're from the 30s and 40s. So, protocols and paints and
Mhm.
asbestos is still flying in the air. And I think he was even mentioning that they had a lithium battery factory there that caught on fire.
Oh
So
my
that was
god.
also in the air. And people who were going in with like, heavy masks and hazmat suits because it was pretty toxic in their area and they have to like go back and make sure everything was okay and go back and clean and see if there was a house still standing. It's really, really devastating. And then we also had another friend, our friend Ansley of Spooky Foodie. I was on the phone with both of them because we were both in a chat together. Her mom was in the living, her mom has a house in the Hollywood Hills and it was very stressful. And I can't even imagine what was going on in their mind. And then tuning into the news and seeing the traffic. Yeah, there is no organization. This all happened so quickly
Yeah.
and so suddenly. It was like one fire started here, one fire started all the way in the Palisades. The city of San Fernando, where I live on the cusp of San Fernando and Silmar. You cross the street, you're in Silmar, and there's the 210, and there was the Gulch fire. So a mile and a half away from us, I even posted this on our Instagram
Mhm.
story, but from our neighborhood, you can see the Gulch fire. And we were like, we
Ugh.
had just gotten back. Me and my husband had just gotten back from New Orleans
Girl,
in
you've really been
Texas.
through it.
And I have been through it because I was there when the tragedy happened in the French Quarter. I was there in the French Quarter the afternoon before that chaos happened. And I was
Ugh.
invited that evening with my friends to go out to the quarter. And they were out till 1. I didn't go because we drove, and we drove because I wanted to bring my dog to introduce him to my family. So I was like, no, I want to stay home with my dog. And the next morning I wake up and my mom and my dad are like,
Ugh.
good thing you didn't go because look what happened. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And then we come home to the warnings and we're looking at each other. We're like, do we even unpack?
Yeah.
What do we do? It's scary. I can't imagine like for those who barely had a minute to figure out what to
I
pack
know.
and to get into their cars. But yeah, I mean, everyone here knows someone who lost a lot and it is very devastating. But like you said, it's like we came in as a community
Yeah.
together rallying and it's like we it's either we needed to sit down and process and grieve or we had to work through it.
Yeah.
And a lot of us worked through it. And I was so proud of my community. I was so proud of, I'm going to give props to my friend Sergio at the midnight hour in the city of San Fernando, who immediately went into action, opened up his record store. If you guys have ever gone and or interested in like collecting records supporting a small business, the midnight hour in the city of San Fernando is amazing and they do so much for the community and they're huge supporters of the LGBTQIA plus community
Love that.
and they had an open like drive of everything and anything you can
Yeah.
think of. And me coming from a city of New Orleans, I understand natural disasters. I went through several hurricanes. Did I go through Hurricane Katrina? No, I missed it by 24 hours because that was the weekend my parents were moving me to Tallahassee and then they had to cut the trip short by 3 days because they got notification to go back home to pack whatever they could.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and by the time they got into the city before the city closed, my mom barely had like 40 minutes to pack up whatever she could. And she was like, I packed up your diplomas, you and your sister's baby albums, the paperwork for the house. And we've been through it all. They know they have a system. And we emptied out the fridge because at least I want to come home to a home and a fridge.
Oh my god, obsessed.
And she's like, yeah, it was really heartbreaking. She's like, I turned around and she's like, I wanted to see my house for the last time. And fortunately, we didn't lose our house in Metairie because
God.
that's where we're from because Metairie is above sea level. And, but, everybody else had, certain devastation. So, I would 100% understand. But fires, guys, it's so different. We get warnings ahead of time in the South. We have it a little harder here. We don't know if an earthquake is going to happen, a week in advance.
No.
And we didn't know that these fires were going to occur. We've always gone through the Santa Ana winds. And yes, there's been fires like the Bobcat fire and so on and so forth. But we've been through it all, man. We could weather a lot of storms here, but this one was the toughest one. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing too, is like that's the other thing that's been very jarring. Again, anyone who's listened to this podcast knows that I come from like a pretty evangelical background, and it's been very jarring and not surprising, but disappointing to see the sort of from people who don't live here and who hate California on principle. And that's fine. I'm sort of like, as we have sworn in our new president, like, I really don't have any energy for like us versus themism anymore. Like, it truly is only like those of us at the bottom, which PS is all of us, and the people at the top. And like, even people who hate California, even people who hate me, it's okay. You can do that. It's fine. If that's what you need to do to like unify so that we can stop being like exploited by rich people, then that's fine. I actually can't fight that fight anymore. Like, it just is what it is. But like, watching people who hate California on principle be like, well, this is like God's judgment, Sodom and Gomorrah, city of sin, like, I guess that's what you get. It makes me feel insane inside, like, and it makes me feel like a rage. I would really consider myself like a pacifist technically. It teleports me into a rage that sort of bypasses like all of that, and I'm just like, oh well, one of us is going to die, because when people say that, and people that I have known and people that I would consider, former friends or people that I used to be friends with or knew on a daily basis are saying these things. And it's very interesting. My roommate, who is an atheist or, agnostic or, whatever, and was not raised religiously, again, we were very lucky. And I was working and she was texting me the day after the first worst bit. She was saying like, hey, she was going through our house and pulling things that we could donate. Like, hey, do we need these? Hey, do we need these? I have a lot of things left over from when I was working in the medical field, a lot of extra 93s and N95s, excuse me, and a lot of different kinds of like medical supplies from COVID that we haven't used. So just this person who, again, by their rules, is not a Christian, quote unquote, and yet she's going through our house. We're not wealthy, and she's gathering together the things that we can donate because it was that immediate, and you can't get things at the stores fast enough, and they don't have enough of certain things. And again, the outpouring is now so big, but it's just like so jarring, again, on like a personal note, to see. It's like, well, here's these people who confess, or what's the word I'm looking for, they say that they're righteous and holy and following the way, and they're condemning what's happening as if we deserve it, which again really triggers me in like a very specific way, just based on like queer history and my evangelical history.
Of course.
They love that though. They're like, oh, well, you deserve it. This is God's judgment on you. And it's like, well, that's
like, they want to be very righteous.
Yeah, but that's not how God works.
You're in the right. It's in the Bible. It's in the Bible. I've already got into it with someone in the paranormal community who I'm very disgusted by, who blamed everything on the people and was just proving that this was all in the Bible. This was meant to happen. It's because you guys voted these people. And I'm like, no. Yes, policy neglect, definitely. But please don't start putting in conspiracies saying that the fire hydrants ran out of water. They'd never ran out of water.
Yeah,
it was just neglect. Yeah, it was just a lot of misinformation. I'm like, you don't even go here. You don't even go here.
Yeah, and look, like,
I mean,
I don't love Gavin Newsom. I'm not a Gavin Newsom fan. I'm not a fan of any politician. So it's this weird thing.
No, trust me. Name me a good mayor.
Right.
Because I could tell you, coming from New Orleans, we haven't had one. And coming here, it's the same. It's the same darn thing, guys.
And they need to be held accountable, for sure.
Yes, absolutely.
But like,
absolutely,
immigrants and trans people aren't the reason that this happened. I don't know. It just makes me feel crazy. I'm just trying to pace myself because we're in for a long fucking fight.
It is.
But goddamn,
It's
like
gonna be a
come on
long
now.
4 years. It's gonna be a very long 4 years, and I'm really scared. It's really
Yeah.
sad, like, to see a lot of things being taken away. It's not just about the cost of eggs anymore. It's a lot, and I look at my parents that rely on, Medicare, Medicaid, and it's really scary.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not great. Yeah, we're in for a really it's going to be a tough time. I'm trying to stay like I'm not really much of an optimist as you know, but I'm trying to keep things in perspective, especially
Yeah.
as a white man. Like I'm really quite far down on the like oppression Olympics. So that's a gift in a way, but I'm also empathetic, and so when other people are suffering, I don't feel good. I don't relish in other people's suffering. So yes, the community that I am a part of will probably be lower on the list of the targets, but we're on the list, and the community is wider than just myself and the people that look like me. So if people who don't look like me or who have experiences that are different than mine are still being affected, I feel affected because I don't want anyone to be discriminated against. I just feel so crazy even having to say these things, but it's just like I don't know, man. Like, it just to me, it just seems so easy to like not be a dictator. Go figure. I know, and I really love my own opinion, but like, goddamn.
I wonder how the ghosts of LA are looking at all of this happening. I wonder what they're thinking. Are like, thank God I'm dead. Thank God
I've
I'm
been
dead.
thinking a lot. Did you ever read or like, did you ever watch like Band of Brothers or read like The Greatest Generation that Tom Brokaw wrote?
Band of Brothers, yeah.
I've been thinking about that a lot. Ghosts and spirits and those of them that are still alive as we sort of get towards the end of their time on this plane with us as they
Mhm.
age. Man, I think they would be so disappointed and just so horrified at what's
Mhm.
happening. Like they really came together in a way, and like look, history is propaganda. I'm not stupid. I understand that there was a lot of problems in this country for a lot of people during World War II. I'm not trying to be like let's go back, but man, I just really think that like our grandparents would be so disappointed that we were like not fighting Nazis. That's like that's pretty crazy actually, that like
Yeah.
that's happy. I mean, Columbus notoriously, I don't know how like closely you follow, but we have had a lot of Nazi marches in the last year. Like many, many. And one is too many. And when it
Yeah.
happens like in your hometown, as you know, just having been in New Orleans with such a tragic thing, like when it's in your hometown, it's just different. I'm just like, not here. Like we don't do that here. Like, oh yeah, we fucking do.
It happens
Yeah.
everywhere. It
It's
happens
crazy.
everywhere. We just saw it on television not too long ago.
Huh?
A
It's crazy
certain
too.
salute.
I feel very much that this is like I get like 2020 part 2 vibes for me.
Yeah.
Like we're starting off with a fire,
Yeah.
not great. And we started off with an attack that like got overshadowed very quickly by other crazy events. Like if we go into another lockdown, I'm going to lose my mind. I truly
Yeah.
cannot. And then the odds of that are very good. Like it's just so crazy. Like why are we doing this again?
Agreed. Oh my
So
God. I feel the
crazy.
same way. I'm like, I am going to lose my shit right now. I am going to lose it. But real quickly, I was completely feeling burnt after the holidays,
Yeah.
getting back to work and experiencing the devastation of the wildfires here in Los
Yeah.
Angeles, with our social climate going on. And I'm sure you feel it too, Bryce. Like, we're just
Yeah.
running on empty. We're barely running on fumes at this point.
Yeah.
We're just surviving each day. But does this sound familiar for everybody else? And that's when I was thinking about mental wealth along with
Mm,
my mental health. To me, it's like creating a mental savings account and
mm,
investing in habits today that build your resilience for future challenges, because we're going to have a lot of them. We're going to have a lot of future challenges. And it's just not about quick fixes at this point, it's about long term mental health. So, There are 5 pillars that make up mental wealth. There's sleep, diet, exercise, stress management, and just exuberant amounts of compounds, right? I'll admit keeping all these in check can feel overwhelming, but that's where Magic Mind has been a game changer for all of us, for myself included, mainly for myself too, because I've been feeling it. So Magic Mind isn't just a magic cure, but it's a tool, one that helps me in my journey and into clarity and balance. And their focus shots have become a part of my morning routine after just 5 days. I notice a difference. There's a little less stress, sharper focus, and that dreaded afternoon slump gone. And at night, their sleep shots definitely come in handy. They help me wind down, finally giving me rest that I've needed after just 3 nights of use. So, for the first time, Magic Mind is bundling these two together, their focus and sleep shots, giving you 24 hours of support for building your mental wealth. And right now, we all need that. But to help support that, they're offering an exclusive 45% off with our link, which is magicmind.com/HollyJan. That's HOLLYJAN. Oh, yeah.
That.
So, as we step into this weird year of 2025, I challenge you to join me in the Mental Wealth Challenge. Let's make this year a year that we prioritize resilience, because building your mental wealth is one of the best investments you'll ever make. So once again, head on over to magicmind.com/HollyJan to grab the bundle, and let's start this journey together. Here's to clarity, rest, and a better you in 2025, because we're going to need a lot of magic and a lot of wealth at this point. So don't forget, Magic Mind's bundle is 45% off for a limited time. Check out the link in the episode's description and let us know how it works for you guys. Because we're going to need a lot of shots of all kinds.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, like, life keeps going on, you know? Life finds a way.
It definitely does.
So you gotta keep it, whatever you gotta do to keep it going, you know?
I know. I feel like my life uniform at this point is just my Snuggie.
We love it.
I just want to wear my onesie Snuggie.
I'm in my robe right now, so yes. I'm pretending that it's a sweater. It's my robe. I'm in a robe.
It's your robe? Yeah, I was wondering. I was like, that's a really nice velour sweater that you have on, sir.
It's my robe.
So I guess I know that we had a very serious intro because we just needed to check in I'm sure release a lot of what's going on. And I'm sure you guys who are living here in the city can really understand where we're coming from. But let's go into some spooky stories. Bryce, so you've been working a new job. You've been really busy. And I know that, like, I told everybody that's been in great concern, like, is he coming back? I'm like, guys, he's in a show. He started a new job. He is now working, a ton of hours. It's very overwhelming. Yeah. And now you're helping your sister with her wedding, which is amazing.
That is the thing, is that, like, to the point of, like, life continues, and, like, there are little things that, like, that are even more than just, like, something to look forward to. Like, oh man, this is the good shit. This is, like, what it's about. And yes, I was just in Ohio to help my sister wedding dress shop, which was so cool because I don't remember why specifically, but I wasn't there when she did this. This is her second marriage. She got married very young because we were religious.
I remember, yeah.
Yeah, so she got married when she was like 21, I think.
Yeah, she was young.
Yeah. And they were like, it was just, like, he's remarried and now she's getting married, and I think they both wish each other well, but God, they were just young and it was a mess. So, now getting to, like, do all of these little markers with her that I kind of didn't do the last time. Like, I really just went to the wedding. Like, I didn't do any of the other stuff. I mean, I was a lot poorer then, so maybe that was part of it. But yeah, it was really cool to be there and, like, see her in the dress. And I cried, obviously. Like, it would be crazy if I didn't.
No, I saw that dress you sent to me. It is gorgeous.
And, like, it's so cliche, But it totally was that thing where like she came out and we all like knew, like we all were like in stunned silence, and then she like gets up on the little pedestal and she just like, I'm getting married, and of course I lost it. I was
Everybody
like,
started crying.
and then they do like they get you. They're very good at their jobs, but then they like put the veil on, and it just feels so real. And yeah, it was really cool. So that was a very like exciting thing. But yes, I am working. Think on my schedule has like kind of regulated a little bit.
No, you were busy because they were
Well,
giving you
yeah.
all the crazy
I was
hours. Yeah.
working, there was no schedule. They were just like, on this day you work at midnight, on this day you work at 8 a.m. It was a nightmare. And I need like regulated sleep. So that was bad. So I'm on a schedule now. It's a real journey. Yeah. And when we were meeting to talk about all of our events this summer, I kind of was saying, I was like, yeah, I can't put my finger on it. There's I'm getting a sense, and you know me,
Yes.
I'm not any of the Claires. I'm not Claire adjacent. I sit there and I'm like, I don't know, maybe. There's something at this studio, and it's very old, I will say that. And it is one of the oldest studios in LA, and it is on the bones of an even older studio. So it's been sort of reworked a little bit, similar to like where we went to school or worked at the school. So there's a lot of television history specifically, and it really had its golden era at a time where now we know, like, oh, if you were like a woman in television still, frankly, but
Yeah.
especially back then, you were going through some pretty vile shit to be on television because men are gross,
Mhm.
and producers especially had a lot of power back then and still
Yeah.
do. But there is definitely presences or energy, and even more so it's with the people who have been working there for a long time. It's what they're like not saying that I think I'm more picking up on, because I think I can get along with pretty much anyone and kind of read their energy, and I don't think I'm sensing like anything spiritual, but they're definitely not saying things, and there are definitely places that people are like, no,
Avoid that
I don't
after
go there.
midnight.
Yeah, I don't go there. I'm like, why not? What's going on? Yeah, so it's been very interesting. Cause yeah, I don't know shit. You know me. I'm like when we were at East West Players, like Tanya was so great because she was just like, "Why don't you come with me?" I was like, "Thank you."
Yeah, shout out to
Yeah,
Tanya
my
of Brujo
girl.
101,
She was the
Ashe
best.
Imports.
I always
But
feel
yeah, because
bad.
you were telling me that because what you do where you work, they assigned you to the studio.
Mm-hmm.
And this really famous show that's been long running is being shot there.
Yeah,
And based on like everybody that's been working on that lot in that studio long enough, you know, you could just tell like there's like something there. Like there's a lot of energy there.
yeah. And how many times have we said like all theaters are haunted, all studios are haunted? There's
100%.
so much every day. There are hundreds, because it's actually two shows. They film on like separate little parts, and there's I think tension between those two shows, because one is like more of a daytime show and one is more of like a primetime show. And let me
Mhm.
tell you about actors' egos. We all have them.
They have egos?
Yeah, and
No.
it's this sort of like who's making the money for this studio, and who, like, at one point the studio like sent the primetime people home because of the fires, but not the daytime people. And that was like drama. They were pissed.
No.
Yeah, because they were like,
The
well,
show's gotta go on, guys,
those
for some
daytime
of
ones,
you.
they're just churning
Yes.
those episodes out.
I mean,
So
capitalism doesn't sleep regardless.
not for this company
I
especially.
know my
So yeah,
job is another one.
I know, that's the thing, is like, so yeah, again, it's sort of like a nothing story in the sense that like I don't have some cool like amazing reveal, but I'm trying to stay open. I'm trying to keep my little eyeballs open and my little senses open. But yeah, there is definitely a lot of energy. I mean, every day it's like I get there, and at like 6 a.m., there are literally hundreds of actors and crew persons pouring into this set
Yeah.
every day. That is a lot of
I mean,
energy.
that's another thing too. There's so many people that have come in and out of this property, and even in theaters too. I mean, all that is you're absorbing so much. There's so much energy being absorbed
Oh my
there.
God,
Like
yes.
people are coming in with their stress, their excitement, their nerves. Like that is all absorbed there.
And all of the material, all of the sets are wooden and some stone, but mostly like plaster and wood. It's these like natural materials that are very absorbent. That
Yeah,
some of these sets have been around for decades, and they are, I mean, the city has named it like a historical site. Like it is
that's
protected.
crazy.
It's insane. So it's like the energy alone is just permeating through these like warehouses of old sets. Like it truly is, it's very cool, especially as like a person who loves the industry. It's
Yeah.
very cool to like be around it. I wish I was on it, but like that's fine, I guess.
Have you heard any, like, have you collected any stories so far, or had anybody share with you, like, hey, there's this like weird anomaly or this weird dude
It's
with
mostly
no
just
legs
places.
walking around?
Yeah, no, I haven't heard anything like that specifically. And again, I don't know that many people. There's so many people that like the five names that I know are just like random. It's like the two hot guys' names that I remember, obviously, like grow up, of course I remember their names. And then like my boss, like yeah, but it's mostly like it's where they won't go or what they don't like doing. There's
Mm.
like just certain things they're like, yeah, I don't do that by myself. Or like, oh no, I don't really like go to that section. I'll like wait until the morning. I'm like, oh, that's a weird thing to say. Like, okay, what is that? What?
Didn't you say, like, there's, like, a specific floor or something that they, like, refuse to go at a certain hour,
I think
or
it's more. There's like a So the way the storage works, it's like, I mean, it's sprawling. This campus is several city blocks worth. It's massive, and the storage is just you could get lost so easily.
Mhm.
The only place that has multiple floors, I think, is the actual like set itself. So I don't know as much about that, but like the places where it's like stored, there's like a pretty far you can go pretty far up the hill basically, and people are like, yeah, I don't really like check back there at night. Like I don't really go into like all the stacks or like the rows, or like there's like this little like lounge gym recreation area that like during the day a lot of people hang out at, that's like self-made. They like built it themselves amidst all of that, and they're like, yeah, we don't really like hang out there at night. I'm like, that's weird. It seems like it would be like secluded and chill and nice. And they're like, yeah, I don't know. We just don't go back there. I'm like,
I wonder why. There's a ghost there that wants you to help him with his set or something. Spot
God,
me.
he will be
There's some ghost that
sorely
wants me to spot
disappointed.
him.
Just like Gary at the old school, he'll just yell at me and tell me I'm bad at painting, and it will be horrible.
But yeah, I remember you were telling me the story. What was it, back in, was it Thanksgiving or the beginning of our Christmas holiday? But we were meeting up with a really awesome new friend of ours, Frankie Everly. So, I mean, out of all this crappiness that is coming out in this
Hmm.
world, there's something really, really amazing and good happening because we're traveling to Chicago in June. And our friend Frankie is flying us over there with all of our friends, all of our special friends in this amazing community because he is starting Windy City Parafest in
Yes, I can't
Chicago. And it's
wait.
amazing because he wanted to create a beautiful festival of people from all backgrounds, colors, you name it. He's going to have it. It's probably one of the most diverse
Yes,
festivals that I've seen because, no offense, every time I
yeah.
see a paranormal festival occurring, everybody looks like jars of mayonnaise. No offense. I could post a lot of these pictures on Instagram, but it's just like
Yeah,
they all look the same. I mean, they all look like loaves of bread. I'm
yeah.
sorry,
And look,
but it's
I
so
love
true.
I love mayonnaise, and I'm a card carrying mayonnaise member myself. So
Yeah, but there's
that's great. But
so
there's
much
so many
color in
other,
this
yeah,
community.
there's so many other condiments. Like, what are we
There's
doing?
so many, yeah, there's so many condiments, and there's people who love to wear a lot of colors too,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
representing the LGBTQIA plus community. Like, This is going to be an amazing, amazing
I'm
event.
very
And I know
excited.
we've been promoting it on our podcast, but we got to sit down with Frankie on this evening and he got to like really go into detail with us about the paranormal festival and this new like amazing group of individuals that are pretty much leading it. And it's so
Yeah.
cool to know like, okay, there's someone who is really trying to amplify our voices in this community, which is really, really wonderful. And our friend Zachariah the Witch is going to be there.
Yes.
Tawny, Intuitive Tawny that we've had on this
Mhm.
podcast. And there's just
It's gonna be
so many
so fun.
more. And Ken Boggles. And it's going to be really a great event. So if anybody is interested in going, follow Windy City Parafest on Instagram, give them a
Yes.
like, give them some support. And if you're trying to find a place to travel to in Chicago's really haunted.
Yeah. And it's a fun
Chicago's
city.
super, super haunted. And they have Frankie was even telling us they're going to have some investigations. Let's buy some really amazing folks.
Yes.
And I'm really excited to see like where they're going to be going. And there's some cemetery tours. There's I think there might be a haunted bar, haunted restaurant tour. So it's going to be a really fun time. And it's just like Chicago, old city, has been caught on fire, has gone through so much,
I
has a lot of
know.
ghosts. So it's going to be really, really cool to see that.
That's gonna be so fun. I can't wait.
I know. So that's what, June the 13th through the 15th
Yes.
in Chicago, Illinois. So, guys, get your tickets, buy your flights.
Yes.
Yes. Let's see. Do I have a ghost story? Yes, actually, in the city of San Fernando, where I had we had our show for the Ghosts of San Fernando at the 1984 Vintage and Horror. It's a really cool vintage store, guys. If you
Oh, so
ever have
cute.
time to go vintage shopping, you love like old school horror, you want some like discounted 80s threads, this is like a really good place. And the people that run it are amazing. But I walked in when was it? Last week. I needed retail therapy and I
Yes.
walked in. I was like, I need to like just like block my mind for just an hour. So I go in there and one of the personnel were sitting behind the booth and get this. So I don't know if you guys remembered, but I shared the story how during the live show in 1984 of the Ghosts of San Fernando, our friend Tanya saw this apparition standing behind these curtains
Ooh.
that were behind me. And she said it looked like a man, like it was a shadow of a man. It was just standing behind the curtains. And then Tawny said that she saw the same thing. And then another person who also has mediumship abilities who she doesn't even know Tawny and Tanya. She was like, I saw something behind those curtains, Tammy. I'm like, oh my
Gosh.
God, you're the third person to say this.
Wow.
So I spoke with the salesperson finally, and I was like, have you experienced anything? She's like, oh, I just experienced something right now, 2 minutes before you stepped in. I'm like, what happened? She's like, you see that girl crying? And it was this little girl with her parents. She was bawling. And I thought, oh, maybe it's just a little bratty girl. And she was like, girl, she saw somebody standing behind the curtains. And I said, stop. What do you mean? She's like, I don't know. She pointed to the curtains and she said, there's something there. And she said, right before they showed up, I saw a shadow by the fitting room and it zipped out of view when these people came in.
Ooh.
And I think it ended up behind the curtains. And I said, behind the curtains by the restroom? She said, yeah. I'm like, that's so funny because when I did the show there, 3 psychics who don't know each other picked up on the same entity. She's like,
Ooh.
girl, yeah. And it turned out that according to the parents, because she got to talk to the parents are like, yeah, she said the little girl keeps on complaining that she sees something scary behind the curtains.
Ugh, gross.
And she was like, does she have abilities? Yeah, she's seen things. And then I think the mom said that she saw things. And it was just very weird. And I was like, no way. But I saw the little girl. She kept on turning around to look at the curtains and she was like she was trying to avoid it. Like she was doing a double take, like, is it still there?
That's
And I said,
so
no
creepy.
way. So, according to the salesperson, she said that, I mean, she's been working there for almost 2 years now, and she's always felt like there was a presence there. And now she's gotten more accustomed to it because now she comes in, she lights Palo Santo,
Sure.
she like is now establishing boundaries. But she's like, girl, I still see it. And I asked her, I'm like, what do you feel? She's like, I don't know. I think it's a male presence, which checks. And then she also mentioned too that she's like, it's weird because it's not only here. I found out that it circulates around the strip. So there's the city of San
Ew.
Fernando has a main street. It's like San Fernando Boulevard, and it's just nothing but quinceañera shops. It's like old mama and papa, like nana and papa shops over there.
I live.
And then there's this new emergence of these young individuals coming in with coffee shops, record stores like Midnight Hour and Crybaby Rodeo.
Mm.
A shout out to them. But she's like, yeah, I work at another store across the street, on Mondays, Thursdays, and Fridays. And they got some weird stuff. I'm like, no way. And I'm like, what's going on there? She's like, well, the coworkers tell me, and I've actually experienced it, but things just fall off the shelves.
No.
Yeah.
Let me tell you one thing I'm not going to do for a ghost. I'm not going to restock a shelf. Like, this is like when I worked at the Gap and people would come through and throw all the jeans everywhere. And then I had to go back and fold them. And then they come back in and I will exorcise a ghost so fast.
You're haunted by the ghosts of the Gap.
Let me tell you, if a
Did
ghost
you wear one
thinks
of those
that
cool
I'm going to put
headsets?
things... No, I wasn't high enough up. No.
I worked at the Gap for a
Yeah.
summer and just to wear a headset.
Hilarious. No, I was like a little peon at best. But like, I'll be damned before I clean up after a ghost. You want me to put that back on the shelf? Holy water. Holy water, babe. No.
Why are these clothes doused in water?
I
It's
would
fine. They've been
lose
blessed.
my mind. Absolutely not.
I know. I mean, imagine. Well, I can't imagine because to work in a retail shop, especially one like
You're
the Gap or
already-
Banana Republic,
It's already hell.
you're dealing with Karens, and then on top of that, you're now dealing with a ghost. You're like,
No.
you better pick up those folded shirts again off the floor.
Like, if you're gonna be in here, you're clocking in, bitch. Like, deal
You're
with
clocking
it.
in.
You chose
You
to
see
be
this
here.
wall of denim? Better be folded.
It better be fucking folded. The 3/4 fold or else.
Yes. Here's a little tray, and here's where the little clipboard, the
Bored.
little shirt clipboard.
And you need 5
Oh
credit
my
card sales by
God.
the end of the shift. So, mwah! Yeah, fuck that. Absolutely not. No.
I'll pop a ghost if I
Yeah.
have to like work with it at a freaking Gap. Oh my God.
That's right.
Never again. Oh my God.
No.
My mantra, like working those jobs, is temporary. It's temporary.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine being a ghost that never clocked out working at the
God.
Gap. God, I know that is one messed up afterlife, but just imagine that.
Mm-hmm. You did something bad to deserve that. I'm sorry.
I know.
That's too much. That's too much. No, thank you. No.
But yeah, are we gonna be able to do an investigation there, Bryce?
At my job?
Yeah, well, no.
I was like, oof.
We should go to the 1984 vintage and horror and do an investigation.
Yeah.
I know we got to bring our friends Tanya and Intuitive Tawny because I mean they're open for it.
I'd love to see them
And
anyway.
I mean, if you guys are interested too, we'd love to record it because that is a really cool place. But there is definitely something there. And I did kind of see it. That was another thing when we were supposed to set up for the show. I was supposed to meet the owners there like an hour before. And they were like, oh, just meet us through the back. So I remember like my husband like parked the car in the back. I went out to knock on the back door. It's like kind of like a glass door. And I see like this shadow figure. It looked like a person. I thought, oh, it's one of the owners. She's here early.
Oh,
and right when I was knocking on the door, it's like, hey, I'm here. It backed into one of the racks. I'm like, why did she go out of view? Me, tonta, like thinking it's the owner. And then I'm texting her and she's like, hey, I'll be there in about 5 minutes. I'm like, you're not in the shop? She's like, no. And I'm thinking, who's in the shop? I could have sworn I saw something. I didn't think of it because I had churros in the backseat of my car that needed to be.
Yeah, those will keep you safe. Those will keep you. A churro crucifix, you're safe.
Yes,
you're
I
fine.
know the steam from the churro. It's like the
That's
smoke coming out of a palo santo. It could ward off a lot of things.
Nosferato could never. He could never. Churro. I was very brave. I went and saw that. Like, who am I?
You saw
I know.
No,
Look at
no.
me. So brave.
You saw like Stinky Moonface
Yeah.
Monster? I called him, oh my God, Stinky Moonface Monster
And
was my nickname for him.
you were correct to do so.
My gosh. So what did you think of it?
I actually loved it. I mean, I love. Is it
I'm
Robert
so proud
Edgers?
of you.
I know. Thank you. Is it Robert
Mhm.
Edgers? Is that the director?
Mhm. Yes.
I actually one of the only other horror movies that I've seen is The Witch, and I love that as well. I think he's really special. I think he really knows like beautiful filmmaking and beautiful storytelling, and yeah,
Yeah.
it was there was some scenes that were like pretty scary. But yeah, I loved it. It was great.
Yes. The penis scene. I was like, "Whoa, hold on."
The one that really got me, no spoilers. I don't know. If you haven't seen it yet, skip ahead like 30 seconds.
I know.
The scene that was so crazy is like when he's like latching on to Nicholas Holt in front of the fireplace and like fully thrusting. I was like, he really said
I
that.
remember that.
He said this metaphor is not really going to be that hard to figure out because I'm going to have him fuck Nicholas Holt. There we go. And like, girl,
Some
me
people are
too.
trying when they
I want
have
to
it
fuck
on
Nicholas
TV
Holt too.
DVD or streaming, they're like, "Let me rewind."
Yeah, yeah. Like I want Nicholas Holt to be crazy for me too. So it's like
I
fine.
know.
I will say, Lily Rose Depp, is that her name?
Yeah.
She was incredible. Like
She was really amazing in this film.
it
Like
was
she a
crazy.
long way from yoga hosers.
Rag Lily
Not a
Rose.
porn. It's not porn. It was this
Hilarious.
like indie horror film that she did a long time ago.
Wow.
And I was like, wow, Lily Rose, this is a long way from yoga hosers.
Yeah, no, I thought she was great. You know who I didn't like? I know this has turned into movie chat. I did not think Aaron Taylor Johnson was very good. I thought he was actually quite bad.
Really?
Yeah, I think it was giving for me, and I'm like, right, I'm sure he so cares about my opinions. Grain of salt. But it was giving like when you have someone who's like bad at improv, but they're trying to do improv. Because like the acting class teacher said, like, oh, well, just like let's like work into the scene and then like improv to like get into the mode and then like say your line. And that's like a pretty common acting like 101 class kind of thing, which is fine. But it's like every time the scene he would be like doing this weird like
I noticed
in
that.
school, that's how it was. And I was like, babe, what is that? Like, you're too beautiful to do that. It was
That's the problem because he's
wild.
beautiful.
And I
That's
liked
why
him.
he
I
gets
actually
away
thought
with
he
it.
was good in like things when he was younger. It was just
Mhm.
that I don't know if he was like trying too hard to be like in the period. So he just was giving like, I don't know, it was a lot. And I was like, there are people that are doing really good work, and that's a tough when you can't go toe to toe with someone who is like swinging for the fences. It's
Mhm.
really evident. The disparity is really jarring. I mean, you've got like these frankly powerhouses of the industry with like I don't know, and I normally like him. I don't know. That was my main criticism.
But look, when you add Willem Dafoe into that
Right.
mix,
And like
it's
here's
a
the thing.
lot. You are trying to those are some hard footsteps to follow.
And here's the thing, it's so crazy because like there's so many scenes where what he's doing is like insane. Like when he just picks the cat up at the end and he's like, "Well, I guess I did it." Like that's not a very grounded moment. Like that's actually insane. But
Mhm.
he is so grounded in the reality that you're just like, "Well, yeah, that's like normal." Babe, no, it's
Mhm.
not. That's crazy. He's like sprinkling again. Spoiler. Sorry. Fast forward, he like is sprinkling flowers on them at the end. Like,
Mhm.
well, okay, she did it. That's crazy. And yet he's so grounded. He's so good that it doesn't even like phase you. I don't know. Yeah, it's tough. And again, Nicholas Holt, or sorry, Aaron Taylor Johnson is wildly successful. He does not need my opinion. He's doing just fine. I'm sure he thinks I'm a terrible actor too. Like, it's fine. I don't have anything against him, but I was just like, this is not good.
It was a really good movie, and
So
we were able
good.
to see an early screening of it, followed
Ooh.
by a Q&A with the cast too, and they were all amazing. Like, yeah, we were so pissed because we were so late, And we had to like in an IMAX theater like setting, like we had to sit in the third freaking row, so our necks were super stiff. But it worked out for the better
Yeah.
because they ended up marching in. I thought it was just going to be a Q&A with the writers and the director. No, it was all of them. I was several feet away from our beloved Willem Dafoe and
Oh my
Lily Rose
God.
Depp.
That's so
But they were
cool.
just so cordial and so like sweet. Like they were
Aw.
just answering the questions, like taking their time and being very honest and funny. And it was wonderful. It was just really cool to see like such a positive young cast. And then
Yeah.
they're being led by Defoe himself. Like they have,
Yeah.
so much to look up to right there. It was really cool.
Yeah.
I thought it was a really good film, and I thought the casting, everything was amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. Literally, all I saw over the holidays was Nosferatu and Wicked. And that says something. I don't know what it says, but it definitely says something.
No, I take up Nosferatu any day over Wicked. Sorry.
Wow. Brave.
Sorry, I have to say that. I'm not a big like Ariana fan right now. So
That's
I'm
fair.
just
Totally fair. You don't have
I'll
to
take
be.
up, vampire shriveled penis over
Oh my
her
God.
any day.
Oh my God. Yes.
Well,
Correct.
guys,
What a
yeah, this
journey.
is our check-in. I'm glad that we had a time to sit with our special guest, Bryce Mitchell Williams.
Yes.
Almost forgot
So special.
how you looked. Forgot
Yeah.
you wore glasses.
And well, it's late.
No, but I mean, like your schedule has cleared up a lot more.
Yes.
Mine's now picking up. Wonderful.
I know. That's the thing. We're always
I know.
we're doing
No,
it.
but this has like been like having this podcast has been like therapeutic for a
Aw.
very long time. So yeah, for all of us. And I'm sure for you guys too. Definitely like, I mean, a lot of you guys have messaged us and we really do thank you. We
I
got a
know,
lot of
it's so
messages from
sweet.
people wondering if we were okay, if we were doing well. And yes, and there is, hold up, there's a shout out I have to give to gal. Here it is. Shanna. Hey girl. Thank you so much for your kind words. And she's sending her love from Vegas. She says, thank you guys, y'all. And everyone has gotten me through so much. So thank you so much, Shanna, for your kind words once again and for your support. So I told you we're going to give you a shout out, and here it is. Well,
Hey girl,
of
I was just in
course.
Vegas. I love the Vegas airport. I was just there.
See, we're showing love to the Vegas airport.
That's right. I love it. The Dolly Parton slots. That's my go-to.
Yes. Yeah. But thank you guys so much for tuning into today's episode.
Yeah.
And be sure to follow us on our socials on Facebook and on Instagram, even though I kind of hate Facebook right now. But you could also follow us on Instagram at Hollyweird Paranormal. And if you want to learn more about New Orleans and LA ghost stories, you can follow me at Haunted LA Girl on TikTok as well.
Yeah, it's the best.
And yes, so don't forget Windy City Parafest, June the 13th through the 15th. Follow them at Windy City Parafest on Instagram. And if you want to learn more about the podcast and episodes, get caught up with past seasons, then definitely follow us at HollyweirParanormal.com. Please give us a rating and review. It helps us out so much. It really does. We haven't gotten a review in a while, so be very nice, be very kind, and be very positive because we need more positivity in this world.
Yes, we do.
Yes, don't be a Nosferatu dick, all right? Just don't be a, yes. Don't be a shriveled up penis, please.
Don't do it. Be a Willem Dafoe dick. Duh.
I know. Bryce, do you have anything else you want to say before you go?
Yeah, I normally know that this is the part where I just say bye, and I'm going to, but I think as we go forward, I'm going to also add, like, just take care of each other and build whatever community means to you. If you can reach a hand out to people who maybe don't have the same experience as you,
yes.
Now is the time. Now is the time to know your neighbors. Now is the time to build community. All we have is each other. And I know that's crazy coming from me because nobody loves ranting more than me about how I think I'm smart and everyone else is stupid. But all we have is each other. And, you know, we're just going to get through this too. We will. We've come this far. So we'll just keep going.
Exactly. And for those who really want to still volunteer, you know, hold off on it for right now. I mean, I was trying to call certain places to volunteer recently, and they're like fully packed.
It's incredible.
But the one girl from Red Cross said this, and it was so important. I was like, you're so right. She's like, it's very overwhelming right now, and we love it. But if I were you, I would hold off another 2 weeks. And here's why. It's going to die down.
Yeah.
And people who are working and volunteering right now are going to be very burnt. So we need the next wave of people to be prepared.
Yeah.
And she's like, will you be prepared in 2 weeks? You think you could do it? I was like, yes, I'll call back. I promise.
I love that.
So if you guys are looking to volunteer, contact the Red Cross. We're going to put a lot of our this info on our link tree, especially places where you could donate. I know they're looking for more monetary donations, like the Pasadena Humane Society, our favorite museum, the Bunny Museum, too. That whole museum was located in Altadena, is completely lost. It was a beautiful museum, and I mean, they're trying to rebuild. They're going to go back and rebuild, like a lot of people are. They're going to try to get back on their feet.
Yeah.
And of course, the Red Cross, they're always looking for monetary donations. You could donate whatever you can. A little goes a long way indeed. So yeah, that's all we can do right now is just, find our community, be resilient. The human spirit is so resilient.
Yeah.
I can't stress that enough.
Yeah, it is.
And yes, definitely take care of yourself and each other, but most of all yourself. Take care of your mind, take care of your body, because we only have one, man, in this crazy world.
I know.
All right, guys, take care of each other, take care of yourselves, but most of all, remember to stay weird in these weird times, but stay Hollyweird. And we'll definitely catch you next time. Bryce, do you have anything else you finally would like to say?
Bye.
Bye, guys. Take care and stay Hollyweird.